Hello everybody, welcome. I'm No02, thank you for watching this video. Yes, the gadgets. We begin. Still working on the other stuff right now, but we're also going to be getting a little series here where we are going to be going through all of the gadgets one by one, talking about what they do, what they look like when you use them, cards that they synergize with, all those little details. You have all the information that you need to make a informed decision. Be sure to check the timestamps per usual. But in this video, we're going to be going over T-5, what it does, the cards that synergizes with, some my general philosophy behind this card. And at the very end, we'll have like a link or something, you know, to a no hope or nightmare viable deck that uses expired T5. But expired T5, it's one of the new mechanics in the game. The game calls a gadget, the gadget, and it actually replaces one of your accessory slots with an activatable ability, essentially, right? Instead of having an item in that particular accessory slot, so for Expire T5, it replaces our support slot. More healing with stuff for you. But when you push that button, right, the button that would typically allow you to equip your healing accessories, instead it activates the effect. Create a cloud that deals 8 fire damage to weak spots every second. Every second. And now, for me, when it comes to dealing with the Horde, typically you just stand in a corner and it's not really an issue. Seeing how Act 5 has not a whole lot of good corners to stand in, RT5, kind of a nice get-out-of-jail-free card. Ever caught out in the open? Out in the middle of nowhere? Expire T5 is literally just you push the button and Common Ridden cannot touch you. Cannot touch you. They can't hurt you. And so I think a lot of people have really been enjoying Expired T5. I've been seeing it a lot in my random games. But essentially, you become a walking Molotov. And the important thing here that I didn't realize or didn't know until I started using it is that you are the center of the cloud. So once you push the button and you can start running around, doing your running around thing, it follows you. It follows you for the entire duration of this ability. So let's go through the numbers a little bit. 25-second cooldown after you activate it. It lasts for 10 seconds. So 15 seconds of downtime essentially. And its range is about 10 meters. It seems like somewhere between 9 to 10 meters. It feels a little janky in that regard when it comes to the exact distance, but I've never seen it go over 10 and I've never seen it go below 9. So it'd give the range on it 9 to 10 meters, and that's pretty far. That's pretty far. That's enough time to burn the Ridden out entirely, even in no hope mode. But what's really interesting about T5, and I think it's really cool, is actually to see all the weird synergies that works with it. Right? Fire damage has the keyword 8 fire damage, so it synergizes with Pyro, and it says damage to weak spots every second, and so it synergizes with weak spot damage. If you run Ridden Slayer or whatever, Reckless, whatever, right? Like all the other cards that deal bonus weak spot damage, that 8 damage goes up for Expired T5. Kind of interesting. It even works with cards like Broadside, where it says precision skills, you know what I'm talking about? Precision kills have a 20% chance to cause Ridden to explode, right in the zone. Precision skills. Grants 5% reload speed. Sadistic. Precise kills. Gives 5% increased weak spot damage. Because dealing damage to a weak spot or eliminating an enemy by landing the final shot on their weak spot triggers all of these precision skill abilities. Sorry, I had to take speech therapy in elementary school. Leave me alone. All these precise skills, you know what I'm talking about, trigger when T5 and the expired T5 eliminates an enemy Ridden. Triggers all of these. In fact, it also works with Jim. That's right. It synergizes off of Jim's main ability, his card or whatever, right? The precise kills grants him 2.5 stacking damage.
I'm here for you.
Which is quite good, quite interesting. Now, I will say here, before we get into the demonstration, just what it looks like. I'll be real fast. Sort of a lot of the same thing here, though, right? When I talked about making melee decks, the thing that I'm always talking about is card investment for what we accomplish, right? And usually a lot of my melee decks in the past have just been minimalist, right? You take advantage of the melee cards that allow you to sustain infinitely if you swing a melee weapon around, right? Because investing into melee to the point that you can eliminate mutations, that takes a lot of cards. You're sort of all in on one thing. I am very much so of the mindset where you invest into multiple tools instead of over investing into a single tool, because when it comes to eliminating mutations, there's far easier ways to do that with less card investment. Sort of the same thing for T5 here. When it comes to dealing with the horde of zombies all on its own, T5 does great. Absolutely great. And so when it comes to getting expired T5 to super comfortably deal with zombies, the common ridden, really all you need is Pyro. The most bang for your buck. It synergizes with other things like red barrels and gas cans, as also gives you temporary health. So like having Sadistics, that's pretty cool. That's a pretty cool synergy. But you don't really need it, right? You don't really need it to eliminate the horde, because the horde of zombies has pretty low health to begin with. So when it comes to Expired T5 then, dealing with the horde, you don't really need too many cards. You need T5 plus one card, and that's about it. What about investing into T5 to the point that you want to eliminate mutations? For the most part, all the mutations are pretty easy to eliminate with your bullets with little investment. It's always that elusive tall boy, right? The big old meaty HP, whatever, flush golems, right? How many cards does it take to very comfortably deal with a tall boy? Or a bruiser? A bruiser's a little bit easier because they walk slow. Tall boy, there's really no amount of cards that you're going to invest into a tall boy that's going to allow you to just push T5 and then they die. It just doesn't happen. Now, granted, in those situations, you're shooting at the tall boy, right? You're doing other sources of DPS, which can help. But in order to get your T5 to a point where it can comfortably deal significant damage to the tall boy, you've invested, you got Ridden Slayer, and you got the other card, I don't remember what they're called. You got like 100% weak spot damage going on. Plus the tall boys seem to be vulnerable to fire in general, plus the pyro. I mean, you can chunk a tall boy pretty dang good with T5. But you end up investing 3, 4, 5 cards into it. Feels like a lot. Feels not super flexible to me. So T5, super easy to invest into when it comes to dealing with the horde. When it comes to dealing to mutations, you can totally do it. About a third of your deck ends up being dedicated to it, though. I personally am not the biggest fan of it, but pretty cool card just in general, what it does, how it synergizes with stuff. I actually really, really love the fact that it takes up our support slot, because I think there are some really cool options right now that you'll see in the deck that I recommend, or that I've been playing with for T5. There's some really cool support slot alternatives. We don't need a support slot anymore. We don't need it. We don't need it. Run T5, run Pyro. There's a bunch of other ways that we can stay healthy over the course of a run. So, let's just see what it looks like real fast. Remember, a 25-second cooldown, 10-meter range, roughly.
Hey, anyone?
We'll get a stun gun, I guess.
To the tunnels after Phillips.
So we just push our 4 button here. That's the default for a healing accessory.
Everyone in one
Bots
piece?
will kill things, right? But this guy's around 10 meters.
Finish the hunt. Those armor plates
Around 10 meters, they die. That's about it. You can see in the bottom left by our health, we got stacks of gem. Not max yet, right?
Look out!
Excuse me, but we've got stacks of gem going on here.
The area's riddled with tunnels.
25-second cooldown that you can see on the item itself. Keep in mind that the armored zombies have more health, like 300 health plus. Sometimes, I don't remember what the military zombies got, but they got extra health. Some things to note about T5: it does not hurt. It does not hurt the tentacles. T5 does not eliminate birds. Does not hurt sleepers, from my testing. You can hear it with a tall boy. 200 points of damage a tick, right? We got a bunch of things going on here. We got gym buffs, we got sadistic buffs, we got the Ridden Slayer, right? So 200 points of damage a second, pretty dang good. That's a lot of damage to a tall boy. For 50 rounds of ammo? pretty sweet. Pretty sweet indeed. Look how many cards in our deck are invested into it, right? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards invested into that. And, I mean, it chunks the tall boy really, really good, but to me it feels like a lot of investment. We can still chunk tall boy super well with T5, but have other tools available to us as well. I think especially support tools. I think this is going to be a really good option for support players now, who are not necessarily supporting the team with health, but supporting the team with other resources, and then using T5 to do some interesting damage in certain circumstances. So, this is the Expired T5. Super cool gadget. All kinds of synergies. A lot of fun. Be sure to check out the deck that I'll be posting, that I've been running T5 with random players online. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you in the future.